You're listening to the Breadcrumb Mojito podcast, hosted by Connor Wow.
Mikey,
Cool.
welcome.
G'day, bro. How you doing?
Yeah, good. Thank you very much for taking the time out of a very busy week to come and have a bit of a chat. You're up here for Auckland Cocktail Week, obviously, and showing your face in a lot of different venues and talking about some interesting products, which is nice and cool. I'm really excited to learn about everything that's going on recently. It's been a while since we've caught up.
It has, yeah. I mean, we've kind of crossed vicarious paths across time, but like never really properly had this. So, long time listener and
first time caller. Love it. All right. Well, I tend to start everything off with a bit of a origin story.
Yeah, I was hoping we didn't have to do this.
Yeah. Okay. No, we always got to do the origin story. And so, for anyone that listens that doesn't have any idea who you are yet, which is where they've been living under a rock potentially.
Yeah.
Where did it all start?
The hospitality piece?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Well, we can take it all the way back, I guess. I guess probably like most people, working behind the bar was a sideline job while studying, right?
Yeah. What were you studying?
Early days. For me, I was studying architecture. So
oh, wow. Yeah,
originally, I was down in Christchurch studying a architectural design diploma. So I was down there. I got a job at the Grumpy Mole.
The Grumpy Mole. I've heard that name.
There used to be one in Tauranga. There's a few.
Okay,
There's a few around the country. There's like I don't know if it was a franchise, but it was like it was exactly as it sounds.
Okay,
so it was
kind of like a Cobb and Co. Lone Star-ish vibe.
Very much like cowboy hats and like but bad. Like it was and like at the end of the day, I worked there just because it was a job, and one of my flatmates worked there in Christchurch, so I worked there like 1 or 2 days a week. That's my first taste of hospitality, and I probably actually really didn't enjoy it to the point where I was like, I don't really want to do this. But I was down there. That was my only work. And then when I finished my diploma, I moved up to Auckland to do my Bachelor of Architecture studies. At which point I was also looking for a job. So I'd moved home and I was also looking for a job. A new place was opening up in Albany, this big new mall, which is no longer new. That's how old I am.
Yeah.
And it was kind of this new big thing. It was the new Takapuna, I guess, for the North Shore was kind of what it was. And it was just one venue. And that's what it became. Like we were the only 3:00 license on the North Shore. So myself and Julian Green, we ended up taking on bar back roles there, which was kind of bonkers. We were glassies. It started from scratch, busy, high volume, but just smashing out the guys behind the bar, older guys, smashing out Heinekens and all this, and we're just being the fastest fridge stockers and all that. So I think that you kind of caught the bug of like, hard work means it's fun, it's high octane, like
very fast paced.
Yeah, it was just bar backing, and kind of from there, I guess I kind of started to catch the bug from that point. Obviously, I was still studying at the same time, and then I guess probably within those couple of years, I moved on to a couple of other places. I moved on to Sale Street, which is another massive venue. I was there for, I think, just over 2 years. Yeah, kind of ended up in more of like a head bartender role type situation. Became more focused, reading cocktail books and all this stuff, that I kind of like, whoa, yeah, I did actually used to come to work an hour early and sit and read a cocktail book before. Like I used to think that that's what I needed to do, which was just cool because like now you can retain so much of that. But that's kind of how it all started. And at that point, I was trying to do 50 hours in the bar. This bar was, I don't know if you remember Sale Street, but it was like a 1,200 person venue if full tilt. So
yeah, I remember people talking about Sale Street, but it's not a venue I ever stepped foot in. I don't think. Like when I started out in hospo, I spent most of my time on the viaduct. I was at Outlaws and Cowboys and O'Hagan's. And
so to be honest, I'd never been down there anyway. Like there's one of those things, I think, because I was from the shore, like we come to town and then, So but that was massive. Like we were doing, sometimes up to 100K on a Friday type thing. Like I often put 15 grand worth of sales through the till. It was just absolutely insane. It was if anybody remembers it, the bar would just be like 8 deep all night from 4 p.m. through till 3 a.m.
Yeah,
and
wow.
Just messy.
Crazy.
Yeah.
It's quite a big jump to go from bar backing to stepping into like a head bartender role in a massive venue. Quite a quick jump.
That first spot I did like end up moving into the bar quite quickly. Obviously, as hospitality often goes, massive turnover.
Yeah.
Those bartenders don't stick around for whatever reason. Everybody was young, right? So I ended up bartending for quite a while on the shore, and then kind of moving into it. And that's kind of where I caught the bug properly, I guess. That's where I switched out my degree and took on, earning all this money. Yeah. And I was like, well, actually, okay. And then I got really passionate about it, So from there, I moved to a little place called the Corner Store, which is still there. Worked with Chase Bickerton, and so we're surrounded by incredible chefs, bunch of other bartenders. It was kind of one of those local haunts, and this kind of connection piece over the bar, the service, which was like that's when I was like properly hooked, right? Like when you get to chat to people, you get to kind of hopefully make people's day, but you also learn a load about different stuff, and you constantly just every day's different, and with that also, like from a creativity level, that was we became cocktail focused. It was what we were known for. We're entering competitions and that kind of thing, so that's kind of where it all stemmed from.
What was the first competition?
My first competition on stage. I don't.
Because that would have been like the 42 below sort of days.
I mean, definitely entered 42 below. Definitely didn't make it through the first few times. It's the first bar I actually entered the 42 below World Cup. Probably the first big one I would have done would have been 42 below. Actually, because I went to Canada from 2010 to 2012, and then came back, and that was when I kind of first actually entered a bunch more competitions. But only presenting probably would have been 42 below, I think. When I got to Queenstown, so like 2012. I never really like massive on the competitions. Like I've done a lot, but never really was focused on it. And also like now I know exactly why I wasn't, because it was never cut out for the way you talk about people's brands and stuff. I'm like, but is that real? Like, but I get it now. Now I'm in a brand and I want people to talk about our brand like that. So there's definitely a format, but that would be 42 below would be first.
Do you remember what your drink is? We're stretching the memory a little bit too much.
Yes, I do. It was I can't remember what it was called.
Okay,
but it was it was in like a big wine glass, and it was a Negroni of some description. I think it was with 42 below honey.
Okay, yeah.
And I definitely infused it with maybe I hadn't. No, I'd done 42 below honey. I'd done like a Negroni, so Campari and sweet vermouth, and then I'd dehydrated honey and put it over the top and filled it with, at the time we had a smoking gun, and I'd made this honey applewood smoke to fill the glass and then put it over, and we sent them to the judges with it over, and it was all the rage at the time. But now I'm just like, well, smoky drinks. Wow.
Taking a throwback. I mean, I trying to think. I entered 42 below, never got through, but I was working with the honey vodka, and I did it was that with Stone's ginger wine, and then cranberry juice and lime and triple sec, a honey ginger Cosmo type thing. But at that stage, I was not even thinking about smoking anything. Like even then, right at the start, your presentation level is kind of a little bit of a cut above. Totally. I think.
Well, I think that the big thing was, especially my time at the Corner Store, we were so lucky to have this. And I don't see it as much anymore. Actually, this is a great example. This is a spot where not just bartenders but also chefs and that kind of thing come after work. And we used to have this really cool thing where we'd have guys from Mount Eden come up, and all these really well known chefs, and they just come in for a bite or a beer at the end of the night and have a chat. You get all the guys from Euro and across from, at the time, French Cafe. And it was like, they're just like legit normal humans. Like it's not like big and it was quite scary as a young bartender, because you see them and you're like, whoa, and then you get talking with them about processes and textures and how treatment works, and you're like, there's so much crossover. So I think there's kind of a little bit like that. I work with Giancarlo Jesus at the Corner Store, and I think that's probably where I got. He's very, very creative and really kind of switched on. and me and him just kind of really riffed off against each other. We did some really weird, definitely bad stuff, but also good, definitely like also some real fun stuff that at the corner store we put on a menu, and probably like if we were able and understood how to market things and that kind of thing, it would have been like really quite cool. But you know, it was more like, oh, we're so lucky in the fact that we get to just kind of put what we want on this menu, so we can taste it with people, and we can take them on the journey and chat them through it if they want to. But if they don't want to, man, they totally don't have to. There's almost no strings attached here. You can just have a bottle of Heineken if you want.
Yeah. Go back to the old faithful.
Yeah.
Oh shit! So you've transitioned out of uni. You're putting the architecture mind into being an architect of drinks now.
Oh yeah, this is thanks, Tash. But to be honest, I guess that's quite a cool way of looking at it. I guess because I've become quite formal, especially from like a process point of view, around treatment and that kind of thing. It is a little bit like that, and maybe I never really thought about it until Tash mentioned it. But I'm like, yeah, actually, you know what? That's kind of how my mind does work. It's like, right, we've kind of put it together. But yeah, after the corner store, Queenstown, then after Queen, that's where I met my partner Jade, and then we moved to London. So I actually moved to Dubai for a little bit in between too, which didn't go super well. So kind of basically the whole time I was there, kind of worked on getting back. Jade wasn't able to come across, and it was all a bit of a mess. And then after that, it was like, well, we need to do something. And I think in my time in Dubai, I was like, work with a couple of like ex high-end bartenders from London, and I was like, this is where we need to go. And I'm like, I'm British, I've got a British passport, like this is probably the easiest way to go as well, but also it sounds like where everything's happening. So that's kind of where the kind of UK piece all started.
That's where everything really took off.
I think it was really cool and also scary as hell. I've never been, if you could ask Jade this, I've never been so nervous in my life. I walked in, we'd done a trip around Japan, and whilst we were in Japan, I got told that I had an interview at Milk and Honey, and I was like, what? Like via a good friend of mine, James Goggin, who had a connection there, and he was like, oh, they're keen to interview you. I was like, okay, cool, sweet. And I'm like, right, like there's no chance I'm getting this kind of thing. And we went to have the interview, and they were like, okay, cool. The communications was quite bad, and they were like, yeah, cool. So obviously in the industry in the UK, you knew that if you went to Milk and Honey, you were first of all, for your interview, you were going to do an exam. Okay. You were then probably going to get put on the floor for a few hours, and that was part of the interview. I knew none of this, so I walked in blind. Obviously, I was like, oh, I can't do a trial shift. I'm literally about to jump on a train to go see my family up north, kind of thing. And you know, obviously, I do the exam, and I was like, that's me. I'm toast. There's no chance of getting this role. And then like a week later, they called me, and I was like, oh my God, really? But yeah, I mean, what was really cool was, you know, you can think about it however you want to, but you know, I'd been in the industry already in New Zealand for 10 years at that point. And I kind of thought I knew what I was doing. I knew I had this lack of understanding around classic cocktails and stuff. It wasn't something that was really heavily driven into us, I guess, apart from my own reading. But when it got there, it was just like right to the bottom. You're just like, whoa, I'm working with these guys who have only made classic cocktails their whole lives. Like they might not have they might not be hand making ingredients and doing more creative style drinks, which is what we often focused on back here. But these guys like knew classics like the back of their hand. You know, there's nothing more daunting than being in a bar and someone asks you for, you know, a left hand number 2 or whatever it's going to be, and you're just like, yep. Like I was the Kiwi guy who was like, you know what, I don't actually know what that is, but if you can tell me, happy to go and to do it, you know, like, or sometimes you pop out the back to kind of work out what it is.
Do a quick Google.
I was super open. I guess I probably got away with it with the Kiwi accent at Milk, but in general, it was like, oh, this is quite a daunting process. But you walk in, you start on the floor. First time I've ever kind of run a floor, and you're there running a room with 60 people, 3 turnovers. You know, it's constant. You're rejigging the room to fit as many people in all the seats. You know, nailing up. There's maybe 600 drinks come out between 4 o'clock and 11 o'clock, and then it just goes to a members only kind of thing. And there's one person behind the bar, so one person smashes those drinks.
Jesus, one person.
Yeah, and then you're watched by the manager, and your round building has to be perfect. Your wash line's tight, ice is always tight. So it was like man, not only is this scary and daunting from a format point of view, it's all things I know how these drinks work, but I've never made them in this way.
Yeah.
Also, never that big, right? Like volumes.
Yeah.
And then off the back of that, it's like it's fast and it has to be this specific way. Like I was totally hooked. I was like, this format of like, these drinks go on the tray first, your beers go on last. This is the most perishable. If you put that daiquiri up on that tray first, straight away the manager's going to take that daiquiri off and he's going to say start again. Yeah, like it was kind of bonkers, right? Just seeing how much care was put into it. So I was there. I watched like quite a turbulent period at Milk and Honey, and I guess probably it was kind of 2 years before its demise in the end. But I learned a lot of awesome stuff, and some of the people I work with are still really close friends from there. And then the Dandelion piece just came from again, it's actually James Goggin too. His sister worked on the front door at Dandelion, and whatever happened, but we ended up chatting, and he was like, man, like, because he knew my background. And he'd taken me to the Lion bars, and I think I was like, I quite like the White Lion. I was like, I quite like this. This is quite cool. Like, from a creative point of view, me and Goggin worked quite closely together in New Zealand. He kind of knew what we all did very similar things. Yeah. He was like, that's probably more you. Like, you should go try. And I talked to Ian, and it was just like, right, okay, yeah, that's pretty awesome. Again, not without its crazy stuff. Everybody sees the amazing stuff, but often the back of house and early businesses was 6 months in. So it was like almost the whole team was ready to leave, and myself, I was joining literally the skeleton of that team. When I started at Dandelion, and it was like, just be aware, most of these guys are going. We're building a new team. And it was like, right, okay, well, this is pretty cool, pretty crazy. It just won best new hotel bar, and it was. But that was kind of where it all kind of kicked off there, and myself and Aiden and working with the boys to kind of redevelop this new. Wasn't the new format. It was actually the format that should have been started from the start. Okay. That maybe wasn't adhered to as much as possible. And kind of from there, it was just really cool to be part of that, like base blocks of this new piece. So
Because how long were you at Dandelion? Was that 3 years?
It was just under 2.5.
Just under 2.5.
So three menus.
Yeah. Wow. And so when you think about the difference between, was it more creative at Dandelion, or was it more classic based? Because when I think London, I think a lot of classic.
Brace yourselves, it's sponsorship time. I know ads can feel like the Broccoli podcast, but today we're talking about the Bar Society, a company I own and operate. So think of it as supporting my broccoli farm. This goes out to all cocktail lovers and hospitality pros. Are you ready to elevate your drinking experience? Introducing the Bar Society, New Zealand's leading clear ice supplier. Whether you're stirring down a classic old-fashioned or crafting the perfect gin and tonic, there's no substitute for crystal clear ice. Not only does our ice look stunning, but it also melts slower, keeping your drinks colder and your flavors perfectly balanced. From home bartenders to high-end establishments, the Bar Society's here to bring your beverages to the next level. Order today and see why we're trusted by the best bars and restaurants in New Zealand. Visit thebarsociety.co.nz and let us transform your drinks. The Bar Society. Elevate your drinking experience.
Very much the classic. But not really. No, that's actually not the right thing to say. I think the idea was that there's these formats. There's the families, I guess you could say, of drinks, and some of these loosely fit into those, and you can wordsmith them how you want to, and it can show like that. But the focus was this well, at the time, modern botany. So it was like, how can we take this element and use it to the best of its ability? How can that tell, and how can that be built into, or how can that be part of a narrative that builds an experience around this drink? So whilst we did some really, really quite like cool and technical pieces and everything was really well thought through, that wasn't necessarily the focus. The focus in that space was how we build experience.
Yes.
So it was that kind of 70-30 split of like, yeah, the menu looks wild, it reads wild. There's some super cool intrigue that we've spent literally, 12 months working on. But the flip side is, if we don't sell it across to you in the right way, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, it'll never sell.
So that was it. It was genuinely, most of the time, just making sure the vibe was really, really tight, and just the way the service role, making everybody feel like they were having a great time.
Yeah. That's cool. It's, hearing you say that, it kind of reminds me a little bit of, just sitting in Panacea at the moment. Some really out there, crazy drinks, but it's a lot of it is the experience that people try and get across. It's the customer service. It's the sitting down, having the conversations, getting the ideas across in the right way, and then people start buying the drinks, and it just flows from there. It's a recipe for success almost.
Yeah, I mean, we did this when we went to Tails and we did this seminar, and actually one of the pieces we put up on a slide was the fact that we could make sometimes up to 900 cocktails on a Friday, right? So across 4 bartenders, generally 2 people would do the majority of that for the room, 160 seats.
The dispense section,
But we could also sometimes do 280 Heineken bottles.
Yeah.
Like it's like, this, it looks like this, but actually this is the reality. Like all of this is like, we're still a hotel bar, right? Yeah. People still want to sit on the river. They want to see out there, and not everybody wants to drink a cocktail, and that's totally fine. They can have a gin and tonic. They can have whatever. Like that's the nature, So whilst we were, very, I guess the menu was the theme. It was a set menu. We also made loads of classics, and we also served lots of beer.
You can never go wrong with a good Heineken.
No,
I mean, that's my favorite beer. Wet, cold, and minimal sort of flavor.
Colder the better.
Yeah, exactly. Wet and cold and lager. Just put it in me.
Yeah.
Oh, awesome. So that's Dandelion for 2.5 years, and then. Is that when COVID sort of started kicking in? You came back here?
So we came back pre. So we came back at the end of the start of 2018.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
And kind of came back. I mean, the idea with coming back was, it was quite funny. I think Jade wanted to, she'd built herself up to stay in London.
Yeah.
And Jade, my partner, didn't really love London to start with. And I think she kind of really built into it and really grew to love it. And I think I grew to love it as well. But in the end, we kind of put this 6 month, like we knew that we were going to leave in about 6 months. And I kind of started to work towards like how I felt about that and what was going to happen. Mm-hmm. And I think in that 6 months, I think Jade grew to love London more. So it was very much like, it was quite a tough situation. But the idea of coming back was more so like, hey, I think that it was a bit of a turning of the guard at Dandelion as well. Me and Aiden as head bartenders, and Alex and a few new young kind of senior bartenders were kind of coming up, and it was like, I think it just felt like the right time. Mm-hmm. Aiden moved across to the US, who's now Dead Rabbit and the likes, but he'd moved across for a role over there. And a couple of others had changed and stuff, so it just did feel like the right time. And obviously winning some awards at Tails was kind of awesome. It was really quite cool. It was kind of the end of almost all of our eras at Dandelion at that time. But then, I guess for me and for what we were doing, is like, what's the next step? Like, what are we going to do? And I think it was like, if we're going to do the kid, the family, the build our own business, like now is the time we can capture, potentially some traction. We're in I'm in the best spot I could be from a teaching point of view, I guess. Yeah. So that's kind of what the ploy was, to come back, right? Start a consultancy, a training piece, to as much in the community the bartending community as I could. Yeah. And kind of carry on with that. Jade was an English language teacher, so she kind of already had that locked in, which is good. And that's kind of where it all kind of came back. So I started up my little consultancy, did little bits here and there. It was really tough. Kiwis were quite not receptive almost at all. Did lots of little bits for hotels and a couple of other brands, but there was a lot of the pushback was often, we don't have a training budget. And I'm like, well, you do.
Yeah.
But there's a training budget, you just haven't.
Yeah. You just wasted on other shit.
When you do the training, you cost money. So there is a training budget. So it was often the hard sell, and I realized I'm not very good at the hard sell, and I'm also not going to go into somewhere and tell somebody that, oh, you need me because your drinks suck, right? Like that's not how this stuff works. So it's kind of a lot of it's all just working with your mates or how can I help, and so it ended up being a little bit more like doing consults for different bars and helping them with fit outs, and a lot of events ended up being the piece.
And just for anyone that doesn't know, this is Ball and Drinks Creative.
Yeah.
So where did the bottled cocktail range come into that?
So that was kind of COVID time.
Okay.
So
So that
off the back of the consulting, I did some pieces with Nick Honeyman at Paris Butter. And that ended up, similarly to how everything always works. It was like, oh, this is actually quite cool. And we did a couple of events together. And then I guess Nick had the conversation with me, and you could see Paris Butter was having people were leaving and stuff. And he was like, can you stick around and help me out for a bit? And I'm like, okay, yeah, I can probably try and do both / all three. I had an ambassador role with East Imperial at the time, and I was doing things for Scapegrace as a contractor at the time too. And I don't know how actually. Well, I do know how I did it. I didn't have children at the time. I kind of juggled all of them together, and had a really cool time. Paris Butter was really cool. I think big turning point in the format there, from something that was very strictly a bistro to Nick wanted to bring in a cocktail piece, but more so, refine what they love to do as opposed to kind of what they felt that they had to do.
Yes.
So it was really cool to kind of help build a different lens from a creative drinks point of view in there. So we did some really cool, tried to pull as many events and stuff as we could. And that was through 2019. And then I had a child, and everything changed.
Yeah. Ain't that the truth?
As you know. And it just kind of completely changed how I saw and how my life needed to be. Well, I don't know how deep do we go into it.
We can go as deep as you want. I'm always down for a deep level.
I think you see how superhuman women are, and they turn into this absolute beast. Like it's amazing. Their body goes into this absolute crazy schedule of building and getting ready for baby to come, and then they're just amazing at burning the candle at both ends naturally. It's like they're ready and they're prepared for it, and we're just there. So I just I was like, I can't not help. You see your partner or wife tired, and you're like, how can I not be working? So I think I guess to put it shortly, like I think I probably worked at Paris Butter for about a month and a half after having some leave from having Lockie, and then I was like, I just can't make this work. I can't be coming home at 11:30 to poor Jade, who's just basically set up the whole thing, and it was still at the point where it was like there was still maybe like a novelty to it, so it was all right. But if it was to go on longer, it would become quite hard.
Yes.
So that was kind of a turning point, and then literally probably 2 weeks later, COVID hit. So
there's a good excuse to stop.
So I drummed up a load of events and that kind of thing, and then they just all fell through. And basically, COVID, I just spent building Ball and Drinks workshops, so my bottled cocktails and off the back of that, like still doing the consultancy stuff. So we did a lot of keg cocktails for different venues and that kind of thing, which kind of kept the bank flow. I teamed up with another guy, Brandon, and Poor Man Beverages, and we did this. We did kind of kegs together for different events and stuff. So kind of kept it going, built a little workshop out in Albany, which I'm pretty sure is quite close to where you've got your spot. Is that right?
No, we're in Hamilton.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we were looking at places up here. We've done a bit of work with Poor Man Beverage Co. over the past couple of years. Whenever they've done big events, we'll help them out with ice and things like that. But I've been to their factory up there. It's a cool setup, and they just recently moved to an even bigger one, maybe 12 months ago or something. So it's cool to see them trucking along. But no, we're down in Hamilton, so we truck up. every week.
Yeah.
And,
Right.
Hamilton was a good spot because we look after Hawke's Bay and Taupo and Tauranga and all those sort of areas as well.
Yeah.
And so it's a nice sort of central point to divvy out from. It was a hell of a lot easier than starting in Taupo.
Yeah. Yes, that's I remember seeing you bringing boxes. I'm like, mate, you are doing God's work, bringing those cubes. Still with flat sides to this venue as samples.
Yeah, exactly. That was that would have been Palmer.
Yeah, I think a couple of other bits as well. But you're like,
bro, I'd chuck all the ice in the little mitzi and just haul us 3.5 hours each way, and stop at Taupo for some Maccas, and it's just, I mean, it's exactly what you're saying. Like, it's different when you have kids.
Yeah,
like, I just can't imagine. I just remember going flat out, and then we got pregnant with Xander, and we had just brought a bar up here in Auckland that week that we found out we were pregnant, and Amanda's pregnant, painting walls and building shelves and getting a bar ready, and I was up that night trying to run the bar because she was getting too big to be able to be on her feet till midnight, and it was just crazy time. And you kind of got to acknowledge that something's got to give, and
it blows you away how much time you were like, what did we do with our time before this?
What a waste of time.
I remember me and Jade have had this conversation heaps, but I'm like, I used to spend like 4 hours washing the car with a beer in the weekend. Like on a Sunday afternoon, Jade would like sit there and read a book on the grass. I'm like, wow. Yeah. It's like the car gets washed like once every 6 months now.
Yeah, and it's done in 30 seconds.
And there's mainly food in the back seat. Like, it's, If I can do it with the water blaster, it happens, So it's just, it's crazy how you're like, wow, we managed our time so badly before, but it was, and it's just a different dynamic. But
exactly. I remember would have been just after Amanda and I got married, and grandparents and my sister were all looking after Xander so we could have like 4 days away.
Yeah.
And we were just like, we got so much time on hands.
Yeah.
Like, there's not a nappy to change, there's not a dog to walk, there's nothing.
Yeah.
And we were just super lazy. We went back to reading a book for 5 hours in the middle of the day, so you didn't have to do shit. And so, it's quite crazy to think how life changes when you have a child. But I mean, you guys, so Lockie born coming into COVID.
Yeah.
And so that's, to be fair, quite a convenient time to have it because everyone's kind of forced to be home.
Really lucky in the fact that we were able to spend all that time together as well.
Yeah.
It was, and Lockie was really good with sleep and everything like that. So it wasn't too tough on anybody, which was really cool. I think you'll probably, there's some little bits that we've probably seen off the back of COVID with him because, and we never really thought about it until now, obviously, with a 2-year-old, and you see just how the social dynamic was. But you didn't go to daycare for, he just started going to daycare a kind of year in, but COVID chopped and changed for 2 years. So like the social, I think for the first year of his life, the only other children he'd seen were like some kids at the park.
Yeah.
Down the road, but outside of that, he mainly saw our house.
Yeah.
So like it was quite it was definitely quite a dynamic. Like he's really, really shy around even family and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Whereas when they're desensitized and they see other humans all the time, it's a completely different story.
No, it is, because I think we had Xander in daycare from kind of like 6 months.
Yeah.
We had 3 businesses we were trying to keep going, and
of course,
it was just there's just no, we just physically couldn't afford it.
No,
I think because we were actually living in what is now my office at the top of the factory for the first for the 9 months of pregnancy. We moved out into a tiny little 2-bedroom flat 2 weeks before he was born. Amanda was like, I'm not having a fucking baby in space. It's big enough for a bed, and we haven't even got an oven or anything like to cook anything. Where every meal was cooked in an air fryer or like a little warehouse plug-in stove, and so Yeah, we just was busy. We just had to put him into daycare. We're very fortunate. My sister works at the daycare that he goes to.
Oh, cool.
So he is still around auntie and she knows everyone and could.
Yeah,
but
that's
now
cool.
he's just a little beast. Like all the family was around on the weekend. And he's playing with all the kids and cousin runs up and he like gives them a hug. And, it's just, he's quite a chatty people person. But I can see that if we had him through that COVID stage and he was locked up and sort of unable to interact with people, that the dynamic would be very different.
Yeah. It's funny. I mean, you never really know. Like, I mean, myself and Jade were both quite shy kids at school, I think. Yeah. So, I mean, maybe it's just that. Maybe that's just the type of kid he was. But I think it was more just the learning curve once it stopped. Yeah. That was like what he was. You see, he was quite overwhelmed, Yeah. But. Yeah. Anyway, children.
That's funny. I have quite a lot of children chats on this podcast, going through all the different episodes, and everyone. I personally just think having children is the most amazing thing ever. I love being a dad.
Yeah,
I love doing that shit. I love the daycare pickups and the drop-offs and the going to the park after, and just playing on the swing. It's all of those little things, the chatting to him over, breakfast. And his little words start coming. He's like, oh, butter is toast. He goes, butter? I'm like, yeah, man, I'm putting butter on it. Then I pick up the Marmite. He goes, Marmite? I'm like, yeah, bro, that's the Marmite. Yeah, good. And then you chop it up and he goes, big, little. Like picking up different pieces. It's just, I just absolutely fucking love it.
Something new every day.
Yeah.
Like, every day. And for us, from both. Like, the 6-year-old is showing us brand new random words or whatever every single day. And you're just like, whoa. Yeah, mate. What is? And it's like, can you stop getting older?
Yeah.
Like, Jade's always like trying to retain the cuteness, but then it's like, but you're also just so proud that they're doing, learning and
exactly. So cool. Even today, like hammering down with rain, we walk into daycare and Mel, who owns the daycare, sitting in the office, and he goes, raining, and it's just like, you're starting to figure out the world and know what ticks and know how it works. I absolutely love it. But back to probably drinks and talking about booze. So COVID, you started doing the Ball and Drinks creative bottled range.
Yeah.
And to be fair, I was actually drinking one of those on the weekend. The honey malt old fashioned.
Jesus,
Yeah.
Hopefully it's all right.
Yep. That's the thing. I've got like some of our bottled cocktails that we used to do. I've got some of yours. I've got a few different sort of brands around, and I've kept a few back.
Yeah.
Just to be like doing the labeling on it,
man,
and best before dates. That's the biggest headache I think I've ever encountered. Learning how to cut squares in ice. I thought that was hard when I did that, but once I got into the bottling of cocktails, a whole different kettle of fish. And so I've permanently kept some stuff back. To see how it holds up over time.
I've seen some pop up. A couple of friends have bought them. I think somewhere liquidated in Christchurch a while ago, and a friend reached out and he was like, will these still be good? And it was one of my martinis. And I'm like, I mean, I'm intrigued to see it, but they are also such high proof. I think the Sazerac was 36%, and I think the old fashioned's 32. Is that 32?
Yeah, 32.6 or something.
Specifically high, just to make sure they were kind of safe in that regard. But I mean, they should be stable.
Yeah, exactly. Because I've also got I think I've got 2 bottles of the old fashioned. I think I've got 4 bottles of the French Quarter Sazerac, and I've got 2 bottles of the sparkling blueberry cocktail as well. Yeah. And one of them's in the fridge at home. I brought it home on the weekend. We were going to try it then, but it never ended up.
That one's boozy.
Yeah.
It's fun.
I thought it was
got
delicious.
Quite a few of them.
Yeah.
So that's the only stock I have. I made a lot. I made probably, MOQ wise, I could only make 1-2 kegs worth. So I basically made 40 liters, which is 100 bottles. And I think in the end, before moving to Marlborough, I think I maybe only sold 25.
Yep.
So.
Yeah.
That was one of those things.
To go.
Yeah, the wheels kind of fell off the whole bottled cocktail range, but you managed to plow on for it.
We gave it a red hot crack, and we passed the company on to Stu and Christian.
Yeah.
And they're still doing their thing with it, which is cool. The bottles are still moving. You know,
nice.
when we were doing it, it was all right. It was just a little too hard to manage all at once, and time to focus our energy on some more. And just things we had a better handle of, I think. It requires a lot of knowledge and a lot of skill, and it's quite hard I found, to scale that out to other people. That required a lot of training to get up to speed with doing it. Especially when you're not at a production level where you can hand it off to a third-party logistics to can and bottle everything for you.
Right, and you're a one-stop shop.
Yeah,
from creative all the way through to the finished product and the delivery, right? So it's kind of like it's pretty tough. I think, you know, again, pieces that I now work with day to day, like, you know, volumes of, as you know, like volumes of labels, it's not worth it unless you buy 5,000 of them, kind of thing. Yeah. And that's $5,000. So you're like, right, okay, cool. Right. So I've got to spend 10 grand, and you're like, right, I've launched 12 SKUs at once. Hang on a second. Yeah. No, let's just do 4. Yeah. And like, you know, that like those kind of pieces of masses, like, you know, this is how this kind of has to pull together. But yeah, I mean, it was definitely an experience. I'm not going to say it made me much money. We got some cool pieces that kind of got bits across the line, but actually off the back of that, I think the keg stuff became a big kind of traction piece with the hotels, and did a lot of stuff around that. And I've always had, you know, there's always been people reaching out for help around drinks, and sure enough, those can turn into bits, and kind of still happens to this day. But yeah, I guess alongside that, I also had my role at East Imperial that over COVID got bigger. Became more, outside of just an ambassador piece, it became, although I'd been kind of part of it anyway, a product development piece. So I started to get more into that commercial side of understanding around the products and developing new ones, which is really cool. So that was kind of my first insight into like a commercial level piece. And then kind of previous to that, obviously, when I first got back to New Zealand, I'd been doing little contracts and stuff with Scapegrace throughout. So I did, you know, Scapegrace Black with them and a bunch of other little production pieces. So yeah, I kind of started to get into this product development phase, and that's kind of where everything ended up.
What's sort of the process that you would go through with such a, you know, a big company like Scapegrace and East Imperial? Are you working with, you know, a team of 10, 15, 20 people all sort of trying to develop a specific product, or is it a lot of people throwing ideas around? It's just a scale that I'm sort of...
Yeah, I mean, it probably maybe looks like that, but no, it's either a marketing team, with a backfill, as we call it, or it's like a, hey, here's a brief, come with some concepts kind of thing, which is kind of how a lot of it was either or at Scapegrace, and usually at East Imperial it was like, this is what we want to do, or it was like, this is the version of this type of thing, this is the story, the narrative, how do we showcase this in an awesome liquid in an East Imperial way?
So you start story first and work backwards
from it. Or origin, especially like big origin story stuff. So it was all about where the ingredients come from and what was maybe traditional in that, i.e., you know, cola or, you know, ginger ale. I don't know if our ginger ale didn't have caramel in it because ginger isn't brown. It's kind of like one of those things. So it was like, caramel's just this added thing that people just assumed that it needed to be brown, but actually this is this, and we use Thai ginger because of this kind of origin piece that it was slightly more fiery, and it kind of built a better drink. The same with our cola that we did, you know, it was built around this kind of Kenyan style. It was using real cola nut. We used spices from that region that built up what traditional cola was, high level of acid phosphate to kind of give it the proper fizz that, you know, kind of died off in other products. So it's just it's all about that. It was all about that kind of deep dive tradition. But this was already steeped in kind of the brand ethos anyway. So it was a very, very quite a cool piece. I guess similar in Scapegrace, it was kind of always challenging the narrative of like what we should be doing. So, you know, like the Uncommon range was built around like things that you're like, you probably didn't know, but actually like now you see it, you're like, oh yeah. Okay, that's really cool. And my specialty from what I was doing in London was this treatment, this understanding. So I introduced lots of different pieces that, you know, had been implemented into the distillation process at Scapegrace, and then, you know, pilots from there and that kind of thing. So
cool. Quite a decorated sort of coming up through, working with a bunch of whole different great brands and being involved in so many you know, great developments along the line, and then going through your own experiments with your own lines and just learning everything the hard way, kind of. The best way to learn.
So much. Yeah. I think the little insight. I mean, it's just funny that the stuff from Ballin like has really come into play in this at least the first 6 to 8 months of setting things up at the distillery. So I'm like, okay, even down to I know how to go sweet spot like the back of my hand because I've done this before. I know some of these pieces around logistics and I know timings and what I need to do with the printer and those kind of bits that I'm like these are all days and days of learning to kind of get these pieces done. So it was like I've got a cardboard guy. I've got and they now make our cardboard. Like you've got there's some context there. So it's been quite cool. Kind of factoring and digging back into the toolbox of things that I've built before. So no,
it's cool. It's really cool. So let's talk more about what you are doing now.
Just over a year and a half deep in Woodward Street Distillery. So we started building. We're actually about 2 months off the actual finished still build. Cool. So we're still sub 1 year on the build of the distillery. But I got approached and reached out to kind of end of 24 to help out on a project via a friend of a friend, basically. And they were like, hey, look, we know you've been doing this product development. We're looking for a head distiller. And I'm like, right. I mean, I've never done the head distiller thing, but I've also I've also developed a lot of spirits per se for escape race and the likes, and I know how it works, and this is all part of a learning curve in my first distillery. So obviously gagging at the bit to do something like that, which was really cool, and I had the opportunity. It kind of just rolled from there. We met Jimmy as a GM and the brothers who own the business, and kind of started. Jimmy had done a lot of work already around the space, how the design work would be. My major changes were just kind of like, we need to make that more versatile. Like I need to be able to do more than just Arjun through that still, and changing little bits around and just making the space easier to work in. It's a very little space. Probably. It's probably this big. Okay. The whole distillery, including the packaging. So we've got about 4 pallets worth of space out the back. In standing area. So it's very much like one comes in, one has to go out. Like that type of situation. And then 1,200 liters of spirit that can be kept on site maximum. So it was super little. So it was just kind of working out how we can get this space to be the best kind of jack of all trades and use it to the best of its ability. So that was a real cool little piece, and just building a little bit. So obviously lucky to have a lot of contacts in the distillation industry who have jumped through these grey areas and red tape over and over and over again. And as we found out, we did as many of those things as we could possibly tick off. And almost none of them came into fruition, but we were like, oh, it's good because we've just done them all. So we made sure that we kind of covered it. So the process went really quite quick, which boggled us because generally people hit stops, and it's 2 years to build a distillery. So it was very quick for us, which we're really lucky to have. But that's kind of where it all started. We have 2 products on the market now. We finally got a product out and onto the market in October, our Chi-Chi vodka, which we've kind of been talking about this week, which is cool. And then at the same time, because we needed more to do than just build a distillery and put 2 new spirits on the market, we also developed a tonic water, which is our Veranda. First one off the market is our Citrus Maxima, which is kind of our classic citrus style. So pretty cool, and we've got more coming in the line. So
I love the little cans.
They're
great.
So we're the only 150ml can. Local 150ml can in New Zealand. So,
canned in New Zealand?
Yep. So all single serve. The idea is, we can control perfect carbonation, perfect quantity, and then, each drink is going to be the same every time for you. So you don't need to worry too much about it. Because, 200 mils is massive.
100%. I remember when we were doing cocktails, I wanted to do little 150 ml serves, and I'm so stoked that you've figured out.
It was really tough to get there. Man,
I can imagine.
The process and finding, a lot of people don't want to make that can, and a lot of people don't want to process that can. So which is kind of fair enough. But also like it's a standpoint for us, and the fact that we can confirm and make sure quality is strong for a bar, and what you get from it. So yeah, that's the one. Again, our competitors are in that size can as well, and they're all international. So what do we do that's how do we put it across that's different, right?
100%. And I mean, you help build a category in canning in New Zealand to, hopefully other brands will take that on as well. And it would become more worthwhile for the company that is canning it. We saw a little bit of an uptake from other brands once they saw our cans, and we got the parts to run the cans as well. Yeah, obviously another big keg in the cog in the piece here. But lots of interest off the back of that. So people whine and that kind of thing because the perfect size pour and that. Yeah. But so that's kind of where Woodward Street's got. We've kind of expanded quite a bit since then. So we've got Cal now on as an ambassador, which is really cool. Coming from a very similar background, we've got Alex, who's incredible in the sales piece, who's from East Imperial. So it's kind of very much like straight into understanding, connecting with old contacts, and knowing what we're selling and working to the same kind of quality. So as we were saying before, the liquid on lips piece is, this on-premise focus is just massive. It's the best thing that we can do, is get as many people tasting it and talking about it and showing people why it's different to everything else on the shelf. So 100%. So Chi-Chi's vodka and a gin range.
So Chi-Chi's just the vodka, and our gin, which is out in the market just in a jerry can at the moment, 5 litre jerry. It is should be launched in October. We've just been waiting on a custom bottle for it. It's
is that the one I got a little bit of a sneak peek of seeing?
Yeah. Oh no, that's the new Chi-Chi bottle too.
Okay. Yeah.
I'll send you a picture of the Penguins Crossing one. It's pretty cool.
Okay.
But it's taken a bit of a process. Kind of gone back to the drawing board a couple of times. But you just got to get it right. Yeah. And the whole idea is both those bottles are effectively our international play. We can sell what we think is awesome liquid in pretty much any bottle in New Zealand, and we'll get friends and traction with it to a certain degree. We hope we'll get more with the new bottles, but the big part is if we want to go onto a shelf internationally, we're a lot more expensive because we have to ship from the other side of the world. So therefore we need to look like that price too.
Yes.
So 40 quid for a bottle of vodka on the shelf needs to look like 40 quid's worth of vodka, right? Especially if there's no disclaimer and no chat around it. It was a big part for us. The gin is Penguins Crossing.
Penguins Crossing is the gin. Yeah. Cool. I'm excited. I haven't seen it yet, so
I'll send you up some little samples.
Yeah.
But no, that's it. So our little rig is a cool little combo hybrid setup. So makes gin, makes vodka pretty well. Could make really, really small batches of whiskey if we had the space for fermentation, but it's probably not suitable. But no, it's just a really cool little spot if you ever come down to Wellington. Nestled in the city centre. I think we're the only distillery now in the city centre too.
Cool.
And we're in a heritage building, so it's really it's actually quite a special spot. You kind of pinch yourself every time you walk into this beautifully blue tiled room with a massive copper still, and you're like, right, I'm gonna make something in here. It's gonna be quite cool. So,
yeah. I like that, blue and copper.
Alistair Cox, who designed the space, is quite famous for a lot of different hospitality spaces around in Wellington as well. But he's done an incredible job. Like it feels a bit too flash sometimes.
Okay,
you're just like, oh, I don't want to drop anything on this floor or scratch that tile on the wall. But no, it's really nice. It's very luxury.
Cool, that's awesome. And you've also got the bar.
Yeah, so the building we're in is a heritage building. It's one of the first buildings on the street. And the bar was actually originally there. So there's a famous wine bar in Wellington called Beaujolais, before both of our time, I'm pretty sure. Maybe did off just towards the end or start of our careers probably. But that was in the basement of our building. Obviously the earthquakes and stuff. The building has since been restructured and rebuilt. The boys have spent lots of money on bringing this back to its kind of origins. It's beautiful inside now, and the basement was then redeveloped into effectively a new version of Beaujolais by a local group. And then once we'd built the space, the boys wanted to buy it back and kind of turn it into what's now Bert's.
Cool.
So there's Bert's there, and then we've also got the corner bar as well, which is part of like the tasting room type piece, which is Cal's little awesome little perch / liquor store. It's pretty cool. Yeah, if you're ever down, come and check it out. It's a 6-seater. You can buy anything on the back bar type situation.
Cool.
Cocktails, just mainly chat from our man Cal.
Lovely.
Not too much in the way of like pushing just our product. The idea is to kind of showcase lots of local, have lots of fun bits that, us as bartenders have chosen that, might not be the most expensive bottle, but we know it's legit. And it's like, you might not have never seen this at the liquor store. And then the flip side of that, actually, we've got a load of local distilleries that maybe don't have a tasting room, or they don't have even retail anywhere. So it's like, well, we'll pour it, but also have it available and, give people a little bit of a blurb about it. So
Exactly. All high tideless, all boats, and so support everyone in the in the same sort of space.
Yeah, the industry's it's a tough one at the moment. So the more we can kind of connect with distillers, we've got this to kind of bridge the gap to, which is really cool. But yeah, obviously we can always try as much as we can to kind of get that together. But yeah, the bar's called Bert's, named after Herbert, who was the guy who built the original building. He is the dentist. There's like two generations of Herberts. Actually, our still is called Agnes, which is named after his wife as well. So some fun history around the building too. It was the first building on the street at the time it was built. Literally, the beach was at the front, at the bottom of the street, kind of thing. Wow. And there was a moldy flax mill across the creek, the stream, which is the street now.
Wow.
Yeah, there's some pretty cool little.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
It's like a full circle, going back to the original story again. Like
exactly,
what is the story that we want to be a part of?
Yeah.
And Bert's Bar, and knowing the history of the building and the still, Agnes, and all of those things. I love it. It's great.
Yeah, the way the corner's set up is kind of almost like there was inspiration from the like original reception for the dentistry as well. So it's very apothecary type, that kind of early 1800s type, almost medicine style shop in there. But it's just beautiful wooden benches and cabinetry.
Cool.
So yeah, I mean, it looks the part, and that's a big thing for us locally. The people that are walking around, we've got to get as much street appeal as possible. So yeah.
Awesome. Love it. I know we're on a hard out today because you're a busy man this week, and I think we're approaching our limit. But yeah, thank you very much for your time, bro.
All good.
This has been a great chat. I've loved hearing the whole story. It's from humble back bar at what was it, Grumpy Mole?
Yeah.
To all the way into master distiller or head distiller. Maybe a couple more years we'll be a master distiller.
Maybe we'll work on that. When we can start studying again.
Yeah. But it sounds like over the career there's been just a wealth of knowledge consumed and a whole bunch of passion put into it, and every avenue essentially tried or walked down.
Yeah. I mean, there's just I guess it's a level of, I guess you all in. Yeah. Generally, I wear my heart on my sleeve a little bit, but also it's just get the give a shit piece, and you kind of always want to do everything to the best of your ability. So I'm very lucky to have had the opportunities I have, and obviously just try and do as good as I can for the industry too. So yeah.
Nah, it's cool. Awesome. Well, thank you very much for your time, bro.
No worries.
It's been an absolute pleasure.
You didn't need my breadcrumb mojito moment?
Oh, shit. I'm really sorry, guys. This is
all right.
I've been on a little hiatus for a little bit. And
it's all good if I don't have to do it because I'm...
No. I'm so glad you've reminded me. Breadcrumb mojito moment. Go for it.
So I was talking to Jade about this, and it was like, which one do I use?
Okay. Yeah, cool.
Because I've got some really stupid ones, but I'm also like, what's the most bar? Like some of them are like, oh yeah, well, whatever, fine. That's just very whatever. But there's a couple. I guess there's two. Well, one is like from my early days of bartending at the place on the North Shore.
Yeah.
And the Catalina glasses the big, tall, fat base, skinny tall glasses.
Yeah.
For some reason, we were carrying loads of those on trays often. Anyway, I was still young, still learning how to carry a tray. Someone had made a hot chocolate in one of those, like a really hot, tall hot chocolate. And I, still learning, got one of them on a tray.
Yep.
Went out to a guest all the way down the deck and got there. And she turned around and I flinched. And in the flinch, I tried to regather it too. So I basically tipped it on the tray, tried to regather it. And in regathering it, I basically catapulted it. It went down and just went... this boiling hot chocolate all over this lady on her shoulder and me as well. And I'm like, oh my God, what? I just froze. I'm like, I don't even know how to deal with this situation. They're like, oh, we'll get you a new top, like all of this and a towel and everything.
Oh, hot chocolate. It'd be so sticky as well. And, I can just imagine that.
Yeah. And it was, I'm a young bartender, so I brought one drink out on a tray. Yep. Like there's a table of 5 of them kind of thing. I'm like nervous, all of that anyway. And then I've just thrown the hot chocolate at the lady. I'm like, oh my God.
It's crazy how sometimes I find carrying one drink on a tray a little harder than carrying like 5. At least you can kind of spread your weight around a little bit when you got more glasses, but that one, especially in a tall glass, gets pretty precarious. Good.
And then my other one was, there's a couple, I've cut myself a few times. But the one actually was my first shift. So as I said, at Milk and Honey, when you first start, you work on the floor. I worked on the floor for, I think it was coming up to maybe 6 to 8 weeks. I can't remember exactly how long it was. My first shift behind the bar.
Yeah.
I'd been on there for 20 minutes or so, but I made my first, one of the famous drinks at Milk and Honey was the London Calling. And one of the first things you get your garnish ready, and I don't like zesters anyway. I've got quite gangly fingers, and I've caught them a few times. But literally, the first London Calling I went to go and make behind the bar. This is probably 40 minutes into my first ever shift behind the bar. I went like that and peeled the side of my finger, and I just 86 myself for the rest of the night. I'm like, right, cool. Another situation where I'm like, I'm gone. I'm not going to be here for much longer.
And that's always the worst whenever you cut yourself, and especially with a peeler. Yeah. And then you got to deal with citrus for the next 2 weeks. It'll absolutely kill you.
Yeah. To this day, I do not use peelers.
Yeah.
I use I'm left-handed. I use the knife backwards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm always the like grab it around the head of it, and then I'll thumb the bottom. And I'll slide it down into my thumb like a little bit of a catch. Because, it's crazy. You see a lot of fucking people hurt themselves in the bar with a peeler.
Oh, yeah.
And it's
I've seen some pretty bad accidents.
Yeah. I saw one dude trying to do it, and he came down and he took the base of his palm off and across his wrist. I was, oh man, it just...
Yeah.
Thinking about it freaks me out.
Yeah, there's a couple of noises that I don't really like. Yeah. Because I've also done something with again, this is years. I'm sure most people have had silly things, but when you do things that you realize afterwards, you're like, why the hell were we doing that why were we cutting mushrooms on a meat slicer? And now I hear a meat slicer and I'm like, oh, that's why those fingers are like that. And, the sound of a meat slicer starting up scares the crap out of me.
Yeah, exactly. Or like the mandolin. That was always one that scared
watched some
me.
Some gnarly mandolin, sorry.
Yeah. I was Amanda and I, we've just been watching Clarkson's Farm, the latest season, but it was like 2 or 3 seasons back, and he was using a mandolin for the first time, and he's talking to Lisa's partner, and
that's right. Yeah.
Watching it, I was like, I can see what's coming.
No! You got me shuddering. It's too much.
And I just, when you see something coming.
Yeah.
And I winced, and then 30 seconds later, he's taken a massive chunk of himself off, and I just, those are always the ones that cut yourself with a knife. It's all like, that's understandable. It's a sharp knife, and people make mistakes. But mandolins and meat slicers and all of those things, they graters, peelers, they're just, it's like a step up.
And they're very clean cuts.
They are. And so for your first shift,
they don't stitch back together.
No, exactly. Oh, that is gnarly. That's good. Cool. Yeah. All right. I'm so glad glad you reminded me about the breadcrumb mojito moment. And I'm glad we stuck in for that one. But yeah, awesome.
Awesome, brother.
Thanks
for having me.
Hey, always a pleasure, never a chore.
Choice.
And yeah, it's a busy week ahead, so we'll be kicking around and doing some things tonight and seeing you on the weekend and come around and watch the ice demonstration on Friday if you've got time. We'll be there doing our thing, and this is unfortunately going to come out after Cocktail Week, so we can't advertise any of the events for anyone to come and check out. But if you know, you know.
Yeah, I think hopefully there'll be some bits off the back of it that we can share as well.
Yeah, 100%.
Vince and stuff are going to do some of the documents and the PDFs from the presentations and stuff, so they'll make a bit of a pack there. So
cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, lovely. And but yeah, we'll let you get into your busy day, bro.
Cheers, brother.
Hey, thank you very much.
Well, thanks for having me.
All right. See you later, everybody.
Cheers.
Ciao.
That's it for this week's episode of the Breadcrumb Mojito Podcast. Follow us on Spotify, YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok at the Breadcrumb Mojito Podcast, and look out for next week's episode.